When did you understand that giving birth doesn't make you a mom? In my husband's family, men got 1 lash for each year of age on their birthdays, given by their mothers in front of the entire family during cake cutting. I found out about this lovely tradition at my brother-in-law Anthony's 27th birthday party 5 years ago. Everyone gathered in the living room like it was totally normal while Anthony took off his shirt and knelt before his mother Doris. She held this old leather whip and made him list his failures from the year before each hit. By lash 15, blood was running down his back while his wife Sarah held their toddler who watched with huge eyes. When I gasped in horror, my husband Joshua squeezed my hand and whispered that I'd get used to it. Doris ran her 3 sons like a dictator dressed up as a sweet southern lady. She'd raised them alone after their father died and never let them forget what she'd given up for them. The woman could flip from loving grandma to total nightmare in seconds. She kept notebooks full of every wrong thing each son did during the year, pulling them out at birthdays to add extra lashes for missed phone calls or skipping Sunday dinner. Joshua's 30th birthday was coming up and I watched him get more stressed every day. He'd wake up sweating and jump whenever someone mentioned the date. That's when Doris started working on me about my future job. She invited me for tea and showed me a fancy wooden box with what she called the family's wife whip. "This one's for wives," she said while showing me how to hold it right. "You'll take over when I'm gone, starting with your own sons. 6 lashes on their 6th birthday, 7 on their 7th. By 18, they'll be ready for the real thing." She went on about how I'd need to keep my own notebooks and teach my future daughters-in-law. "The women who marry our boys need to understand that breaking them down every year keeps them in line. A woman who won't do this has no place in our family." The birthday party felt like watching someone get tortured in public. Family members filled Doris's house while Joshua sat there looking sick. When it was time, Joshua took off his shirt like a robot and knelt on the floor. Doris made a big show of reading from her notebook, listing every little thing he'd done wrong that year. She decided he'd earned 5 extra lashes on top of the regular 30. I stood there frozen as she started, each crack of leather making my 5-year-old son Lucas squeeze my leg harder. By lash 20, Joshua's back was covered in cuts and blood. Doris stopped and said it was time for me to help. "Just the last 15, she said, holding out the whip. When I shook my head, her face went cold. "You don't love him enough to help him become the man he needs to be." Lucas looked up at me with tears running down his face and asked if Daddy would do this to him someday. That question broke me. I grabbed my son and daughter and got out of there while Doris yelled about disrespect and family duty. We started skipping family events and Doris's calls got meaner. She threatened to fire Joshua from the family business and reminded us she controlled all the money. When we didn't show up for Anthony's next birthday, she came to our house with Joshua's brothers. They held him down in our driveway and gave him his missing lashes while neighbors watched. The cops called it a family thing and said we should handle it ourselves. Doris took us to court for grandparents' rights, and I'll never forget her fake crying while the judge ate it up. My heart dropped when CPS showed up at our door the next week. The social worker looked familiar, and then I spotted her bracelet from Doris's church pictures. She smiled all fake sweet while suggesting visits at Grandma's house might help us work things out. Our lawyer had promised to fight hard until he called that morning, stuttering about how he couldn't take our case anymore. Even Joshua's cousin, who swore she'd back us up, went quiet after Doris paid off her house. I sat in that mediator's office while he acted like we were making a big deal over nothing, and Doris sat there smirking. She looked right at me and mouthed "soon" while her lawyer talked. Everything blew up at Lucas's 6th birthday party when Doris showed up without warning carrying the kid's whip. She said he was old enough to start training since we'd obviously failed as parents. When she walked toward my son, I got between them. Things got physical when she tried to shove past me and I pushed her back hard. Our neighbor Harold, an ex-cop who'd seen everything, finally came forward with all the proof he'd been collecting. Anthony's wife Sarah spoke up too about her kids' therapy bills. The judge gave us a restraining order after Doris straight up said she'd keep doing it no matter what we wanted. We sold our house for way less than it was worth and moved 3 states away. Joshua lost his inheritance and couldn't find work without references. My parents took Doris's side after she told them I was crazy. Our daughter wakes up screaming while Lucas freaks out at every birthday party, begging to know if Grandma will find us. Some nights I can't sleep, checking locks and watching every car that drives by. We got away, but it cost us everything except each other.